Hi, welcome to Thursday. So we're on countdown now to going to Tenerife. I'm really excited. I can't tell you. Just the thought of being in the warm would be is just lovely to me right now. I've had a bit of a cold. Ooh, hey Sarah, I like your pencil. Put it over there. Get distracted. Um, Yeah, so we're just in today. We'll be in first thing in the morning, and then Linda's going to take over until Beth can be there, and then Linda's doing Saturday for us. But we'll be shut on Monday. We don't get back until late, so we've got nobody to cover. So Monday, we will be shut, but we'll still be taking online orders. I've been told to tell you as well that there will be a raffle sometime this weekend. It'll be whenever Sean has 5 minutes to put one going. All right, so hang on to your hats and keep an eye because the last one went within half an hour, I think, and it was gone. So keep an eye on social media and stuff. Hiya, everybody. How are you all doing? You all look you look all looking lovely today. You really are, and I'm really pleased to be here. Now, there's another thing as well before I go on anymore. Sarah has put 20% off selected tone on tones. Okay, so all your white on whites, your black on black, your grey on greys. Have a look at those. There might be some there that you like. You know how handy they are. I would have a look at them and then go from there. So raffle and 20% off. We've put that it's 20% off until Monday. Bearing in mind we don't get back until early hours of Tuesday morning, it's probably going to be on until Tuesday. But don't hold on too long because they don't last. You know our sales don't last. Right, today. Oh, okay, Karen, good luck. Good luck with your knees. I don't know whether you're all reading those as well. But hello to everybody else. Right, today's is a bit of an experiment. I didn't realise when I said, oh, let's do a woven basket. There was a couple on there. But one of them needed a pattern. And I think it was a bought pattern. And I didn't know how much you lot would go with it. And I needed the pattern template. And I didn't have the stuff with me at the time, blah, 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 which looked like a really easy one. The one I chose to do is very labour intensive. I'm loving it, I have to be honest. I'm loving the pattern that it's made, but I haven't put any stiffener in, and I think it's not going to work as well as if you'd put stiffener in there. But to be quite honest, I can't be honest with it. So we're doing a woven basket. So look, I got the woven basket, and I'm using the new batiks. Okay. So in order to make it easier for me, now one of the patterns that I was looking at was Mr. Domestic, and you know we love Mr. Domestic, and he used a 2-inch strip with the fabric, and then put the stiffener inside, stabilizer or Pellon, but he was using like a fusible Pellon, and then he would fold the edges in and then fold them in half. Whereas I've used a 2.5-inch strip, and I'll show you. I've done it like bias, I've folded it in half, then opened it, folded it, the long edges into the middle, and then folded it in half and top stitched. But I'll talk you through that. I think it's going to hold itself up to a certain amount, but you'll have to imagine if you really wanted to do this to put a bit of stabilizer in at least the base. I think the base prongs. Right. Let's see if I can remember how to do this. So you need 9 widths of fabric by 2.5 inches, okay, and then you're going to fold them, sew them, and then cut them in half, okay, so that you end up with 18 strips. All right. Now there's plenty out there. I mean, I'm sure that if you don't like my technique, you can find another one. But this is what we're doing. All right. So let's get the iron. I moved it out of the way because I tend to burn myself on it. So no, I want you to activate. So we're going over to the overheads. All right. So you want to iron it all along. So how is everybody doing? Hiya Claire. Hiya Carrie, how you doing? It's no longer morning, sweetheart. You need to get up earlier. It's a long time since I've seen you, Carrie. I think we need to make more of an effort somewhere along the line. How about we do something next Thursday? We are I don't know when the next modern quilt is either. So we're just folding this in half now along here, and we're going to fold it in half lengthways all the way along, just like we would with binding, okay, and then we're going to fold it into the middle, and I should have cut this in half. It would have been a lot easier because I don't actually need this strip, okay, and then you fold the other half in, the other side in, okay, so you're going to go along like that, okay, so you can see that it's now in 4 fairly equal parts, and then you're just going to fold it in half like that, okay, just like that all the way along, and then you're going to top stitch it on either side. Now I took my stitch up to a 3.5 because I think it gives a nice steady top stitch thing, okay, and it's just chain piecing. You just go all the way through, then turn it around and do the next one, okay, and then you're going to lay them out. Now because it was so labour intensive, I've done it all in one thing. So this is my octopus here. What's 9? Where 8 is oct? What's 9? This is my Nephilim. Okay. So you want to lay your centre one down. Okay. And then you're going to lay the other 8 on either side so that you have strips of your you have your strips of your strips going down, and then starting in the middle, you could mark the middle, and then starting with your middle one, you're going to go under over like that through your strips, and then pin it, all right, to make sure that it stays. And then you're going to go along, and your next one along would be over under, and then under over, okay, so you would just make sure that you're weaving it, and this is the bit that pleases me very much, okay. Now on some of the tutorials they were gluing it, so that would also give you a little bit more stability, I think, the glue, but they were lifting and gluing under all your joints. I've not done that, mainly because I haven't got the glue, but I thought, because I want to do it different, so I'm sewing all the way around the edge, to sew it down. Sorry, I've been up half the night coughing. I blame Sarah for this. And it's worse when I talk. So, we're going to go over to the sewing machine and finish sewing this down. So I want to take my thing up to, what am I on? I should be on the 3. I'm going to take it up to the 3.5. So hopefully this is going to work. Octopus plus 1. I think that is a really a good way of explaining it. So I've sewn this bit down. All right, I'm just going around the edge because I figured that's going to keep it all in place. So I've got 2 more sides to go. So I want to center my needle, and I'm going to try and follow as close as possible to the top stitch that I've done on the other one. Right, so I don't know what Sarah's done here. It seems very close quarters today. So we're just going to go along here. Now you can see I've used my applique pins. I love these. They're all they're really good for little areas. I like them for toy making because you can put more in when you're going around circles. As you're going, make sure that they stay closer together. Okay. Sorry about the coughing. I really am. And you need to make sure that you've got all of your legs. Can you imagine them? Me getting on, I'm going to have to not talk before I get on the plane in Tenerife. I took a test this morning and I'm negative, so that's a good one. Right, so you're going to make sure that all your legs are sticking out. So I've used a jelly roll. We've got them on the website, these ones. It's so much easier to use if you've got all these widths of fabrics, 2.5-inch strips, to for your sashing and all sorts. I mean, we've got this is the Bella Solid. I can't remember what this one's called. I think it might be parchment or snow. I think it might be snow. I don't eat that yellow snow. And where am I? There I am. So this is a Bella Solid, but we've got grunge as well. If you're quite partial to grunge, I think we've got a couple of grunge ones there as well. Okay, so I'd already done 2 sides, and that's my other side, the 2 sides done. So I can take all my pins out, which is what I was aiming to do. Okay, so back over here. Yes, 2.5 width of fabric, and then you're going to cut it in half. So we started off with 9 strips and ended with 18 because we cut them in half. I'm going to have to remember to take my pins home. So I'm taking all the little pins out, and then you want to measure around your square. Okay, so you need to know how many inches or centimeters, depending on what you work in, is around this square, the bit that we've just sewn. Okay, and then you're going to sew your you're going to do exactly the same strips. I've used coloured strips. Okay, so you're going to use exactly the same. Have I all frozen? Sarah, you've got just as much chance of having a coughing fit as me. So we'd be good. I suppose we could take it in turns. We'd talk until we cough and then go for the thing.
Are you good?
No, I'm fine. It's stopped now.
It's right. You were coughing so much. I went, I'll go and grab the Gaviscon. There you go. It's there if you need it.
Thanks.
Oh, there's a sucky sweet.
Oh, sucky sweet. Thank you very
much.
Right. So, what I've done is I've measured around, and mine measured 26 inches around my square. Okay. So I've done with the fabric because you might want to use more strips. Okay. You don't have to stick at the 18 strips. You could make it as big as you like with stiffener. I'd probably say, and then you're going to. I've got 6 strips. Okay, it was just that I had 6 of those fabrics, so I went with 6 strips, and I've sewn these. So we're going to sew this one. So come back over here. I'm all of a Twitter here. Are we all, everything a sucky sweet? Right, so making sure it's straight and bring your edges together. And then we're just going to zigzag it, because you can hide that in your, on the inside. Which one am I going for? That one there. And I'm going to go up. So all I did was butt them up together. Alright, butt. So you just butt them up together, and then like that, and hope that you've done it right. And then I'm gonna go back over it. Now you could bring your you zigzag closer together so that you've got like a satin stitch. Okay, now we're gonna go back to that one, because I'd forget that it was on zigzag otherwise. So we're going back to that one. So I'm just going to trim off my edges. See, all I've done is put a zigzag in it. Okay. And now, because it's the same as that, you want really your corners. It does pretty much make its own corners as you're doing it, but you're going to, you don't want that on a corner, so you're going to fold it with, put that slightly to the side, I would, and you're going to iron in that there, and then put those two together and iron. Now, it's where your maths comes in, because I used a different width. Everything came out. I think I ended up doing it in the hole. See? And now I have a square. We're going to do that with all of them. Okay. Oh, look at that. Stitched a little bit off. I don't think it needs to be perfect, because you're going to weave it in, and it's going to be an organic thing anyway. Oh, see you later, Carol. Bye. So what are you lot up to this weekend? Because of course, I don't know whether we've mentioned we're going to Tenerife. Dave and I went to Tenerife for our 30th wedding anniversary, which is Pearl. Stayed in a very, very posh hotel. But we were, that's in February. So we were there just before COVID in the February. And it was nice. We didn't see much of the hotel, the island. We were going to go on an excursion to go up Mount Tidy, but there was so much frost that they weren't, icy on the roads, that they weren't going up. So we didn't go. So this time we're going to hire a car and go up for dinner in a restaurant up there, so that we can stargaze. It's supposed to be like the third best place in the world to go stargazing. So that would be really cool. I do like the stars. I'd love to go to space. I'm quite a Trekkie. I like space things. So can you see all these beautiful fabrics? These are the new in the boutique aisle of the website. So there's these. I was torn because the other ones are beautiful blues. So I need to come up with a project for those. So I don't know what. Oh, I think I just ironed that one out. I don't know what to do next week. I've got an idea. But I don't know whether to leave it until Sarah goes on holiday and do it as like block of the week, or whether to do it next week. Is there anything that you want to know that's within my capabilities, mind? It does sound good, doesn't it, Kate? I will let you know when we get back. Yeah, it's going to be really good. Oh, the batiks fabrics. I'm trying not to buy too many batiks because there's only a certain amount of people that actually buy the batiks, and I don't want to end up having to discount them all the time. I want you all to buy them. So we're going with a bit more specialised. But we're still on the overhead. So let's put me octopus out like this. And we have our strips. Now, they're not really colour order as such. You can basically, could do this, I suppose. That's pretty much an order, I suppose. That'll do, pig, that'll do. So we're going to take, I took them out of order then. So you know that these are going to sit in your corners, all right? And where this one's over, you want that one to be under. Okay, so your next one will be over. Like that. Under, over. And this is all you're going to do, is just go every other one and pull it through. See? Told you. Easy. Labour intensive, but easy. And it's quite therapeutic because there's a lot of mindful sewing. There's a lot of like chain piecing, which gives you a chance to think, which I always enjoy. Mind you, I don't do a lot of thinking when I sew. Normally it's audiobooks for me. So I like it because you're chain piecing, you haven't got to think about what have I got to do next. The ironing is a bit tedious, mind. I do find that the worst. Okay, so we are doing it right. I've got to hope that my measurements are right. It seems a bit tight. So that one's under. That one's going to come through. You all with me? me thinking it's dangerous, not as dangerous as you and Sean thinking. That changes lives, that does. Right, okay. So we've pulled all those through. So you can see where the base is going. So we're going to go with the next one. We'll go with the next one, like that. And no, you want that in there. So start with a corner, like that. And that one was under, so this one has to be over. I'm going to go over and over. And like I said, I've not got this far before. I worked it out that they were going to fit. So this is going to be as much of a surprise for me as it is for you. Okay, so that one went over, so that has to stay under. That one's going to go over and over and over and over and over. See, can't do this and think. I've got a feeling my maths is slightly out. We should make it stand up a bit better, shouldn't it? Like that. Okay. So is anybody else doing exciting things this weekend? Okay. So, is it working yet? Can you see what it is yet? Am I allowed to quote him? I don't know. It seems to be working a bit. So we've got a corner by there. Let's move that corner around so that's there. Okay, so we've got a corner there. So this one now needs to come through, lay down, come through, lay down. Lampshade workshop. Sean did a lampshade workshop for us the one time when one time in Bandcamp when she was she came down. I think she came home for the weekend and we made her do a workshop. And we did have the lampshades, the kits in stock at one time. I'm sure we could get more if you wanted some. We're not going to stock them just anything because they're a very specialised thing and not everybody was interested. Right. That one's going to go over. So that one needs to come through. So but yeah, the lampshade. There's an espadrille, you know, the shoes. There's a shoemaking espadrille shoemaking course in Cardiff, and Dave pointed out to me. I quite fancy doing that. It's an evening one, so I should have a look into that a bit more because I really liked when they did on the sewing bee. I really liked the shoe one. I really fancied doing that. Okay, I think we're starting to come. Right, so we're going to go for bright pink now. So are you all still with me? So which one? Where does that go? That's outside, so that's going to go inside, like this. So yes, you do, Claire. You need to get on with it. We've had some more through. Eileen, yours came today. I did an order for you as well, so I have put on there that it had come in case you weren't here today. We've got some beautiful ones coming through, and it's funny to see how many of you wrap them really carefully, and some of you just put them in an envelope. It's they're all turning up in various states of undress or dress. Are we right here? Yeah. Speak amongst yourselves for a bit. So we had Dave's birthday yesterday. Thank you so much for everybody that was wishing him happy birthday. It was lovely. He just wanted sausage and chips, beans and egg. So we bought chips from the chippy, and I must have cooked nearly 100 sausages. There would have been 50 sausages. In fact, guess what I've got for my lunch? I sent sausages home with the kids as well because there was just so many here. And it was lovely. It was lovely to see everybody. The kids all pretty much got on, so that was good. Oh, look, it's working. It's really working. Oh, you might not need stiffener. It would sit up better, I think. And I think you could probably do more of these. I could probably get another 1 or 2 in. Okay, so this one. Is it unprofessional, the fact that I get so excited when something actually works? Right, we're going up here. I've lost my corners. Have just gone completely out the window, really. But that's what you're supposed to do, is find your corners. So it was lovely having everybody there. My son's girlfriend Ellie, she made cake, which was lovely. It was a chocolate cake, and it had dime bars on the top, and it had caramel in it and buttercream. It was lovely. There wasn't a lot left. Although, Dave, if you're watching, I've promised to leave Josh a piece when we go away because he's having the dogs. So, okay, I've run out of strips now. Okay, that one there. And that one there. Yeah, that's about right. So, this is okay. Now, you could either glue this in or pin. Now, as I'm getting to this stage, I could stick a pin in there, couldn't I? Like that. Need a lot of pins, mate. So you just put them in place like this. So pin that in place there. And you've just got to jiggle it around. Now, like I say, some of the tutorials said to put a bit of glue behind where I'm pinning to hold it all in place. But I think a stitch might work just as well. And then to go around the top, you could, you know where we were ironing it in half? I'll show you now what I mean. Let's pull a few of these through so that it starts to look a bit like a basket. I'm really chuffed with this. So that one's through, that one can go there. And like I say, if it was, you could make these, mind you, the 1 hour baskets, the stacking baskets that Sarah does, is probably better to make for your fat quarters, but you could store your fabric in this. But this would make quite a nice bread basket for the table. Or fruit basket, I suppose, if you have fruit and work. Through here. I haven't looked at it on the outside, mind. That one's outside. Oh, hang on. Ooh, hang on. I've got two. Oh no, that's right. So that one should be through there. Kept looking at it and thinking that's wrong, but I can't see what's wrong. So we're going to go through here like that. And you can see now that I've hidden my zigzags on the inside. So you can't see it from the outside. However, I always wonder whether the baskets, whether you actually look at outside or whether you look at the inside. Tuck that through. Now I'm starting to run out of pins. Oh, do you know there's just enough pins? Near enough. So this one's going to go there. Now I think I could have done with a little bit more on my my strips. I think this one's a bit short. This blue one seems to be shorter than the others. Okay, so that one goes there like that. So you can see how we've got to this. So what you would do is you would chop off about here, okay, or you could fold it like that, going all the way round like that, and then you're going to take a strip. Now it could be the same color as your strips. I mean, there's no reason why you have to do your base all in one. You could do the base color in different strips. You could make it really scrappy. Like Sarah was saying yesterday with her block, I don't know about you, but I always overestimate my binding. So I've got lots and lots. I've got a box full of 2.5 inch strips ready for scrap quilting. So you could then use those. And if you trim it off here and then go pin it or clip it probably be better at this point, and you could then sew around, clip it all the way around, you could then sew this bit into place. Okay, so if you work out the width of your strip, which is about 1/2 inch, isn't it? Yeah, this bit here is about 1/2 inch, and you cut these off and then sew them in place, and you'll get your basket lid, edge, rim like that. Okay, so there you go, you have a basket. And I think if you sewed these in place, you probably get it so that it's a bit stiffer. Once you've put this around, you're going to have more of a stiffness. I mean, if you didn't want to do the stiffener in all of them, I think in this you could just stiffen the uprights, or maybe stiffen the bottom one to get that square, and then maybe every other, or even the bottom one and the top one, which would give you that bit of stiffness. But I think as long as you're pulling them tight, it's standing up. As long as you're making sure that they're all in, well in place. So there we are. It's a woven basket. That's it. Yay, a basket. Oh, yarn back. Oh, yeah. You could put your yarn in that. It would be nice and soft. It wouldn't catch on anything on your yarn. It would be really cool. I'm really quite pleased with that, especially as I didn't know how it was going to turn out. And it turned out better than the bookmarker thing. Less said about that, the better, hey? So there we are. That's done. Don't forget, raffle will be on sometime over the weekend. We like to keep you guessing. Go on the website and have a look at the 20% off on your Tone on Tones. Shop shut on Monday. Oh, I will finish it. I'm loving it. But I think I might put a few more strips on it. I think I might have to have a look at this blue one. I don't know. It seems a bit smaller than the others. So I might have to redo that one, and I'll put a few more in. And when I actually do finish it, along with all the other, I've missed one. That might be why it doesn't work. I think I could get another 2 on there, maybe 2 or 3 on there. So when it's finished, I'll bring it back along with everything else. It is lush, isn't it? I love it. So it's a nice little one for you to play with, I think. And if you've only got strips of your favourite fabrics, it's pretty cool to keep putting it into place. Maybe a couple of stitches. Okay, that all have a wonderful weekend. Go shopping, and I'm hoping that the sun comes out for you, but it's not too warm, because then I'll be jealous that you've got warm weather here and I missed it. Let's hope for nice warm weather the following weekend. See you soon. You take care. Thanks, Sue. Can you please lift it up so that we can see the side? Oh, sorry. There you go. So that's the bottom, which pleases me immensely. And I think it's looking good. I would definitely make more, but yeah, it needs a little bit of stiff in it. So there you go. We all like a little bit of stiffiness. See you later. Bye.